Hello everybody, welcome to Rowledge once again. I found a convenient little perching place for my shoes. I'm going to do a little shoe off today, 3x3k I'm going to do. Matt set me 3x15 minutes, I'm going to improvise a bit. I'm going to do the Vaporfly 1, I'm going to do a Vaporfly 2, and to keep things up to date, I'm going to do a Vaporfly 4 as well. So it'll be interesting to see how the three Vaporflies compare. I've just counted the Vaporfly 3 because I've only got 3 reps. The 1 and the 2 are quite similar. The 1 just sort of has this vapor weave upper and the outsoles are pretty much the same. All these shoes are fairly well used, especially if my Vaporfly 4 is probably the most used shoe. I've done about 230 miles in this one. So this would probably be 3 of my favourite shoes. The Vaporfly 4, the run testers seem to keep comparing it against everything and always dismissing it, but I always think it's a good shoe to have as a super trainer. It's the shoe that I've used most this year, and probably actually the Vaporfly 2 is over 200 miles as well. The Vaporfly 1 is probably done in about 60, so in that sense it should do better, shouldn't it? But anyway, let's see how we go, and good test to see how my fitness is. I'm still suffering from this hernia. I haven't yet managed to organise an appointment to see a consultant, but I'm taping myself up and keep it going. I think I'm sort of subconsciously trying to think if I can keep going to the 5k British Masters at the end of the month, and then we'll take it from there. May need to then retire for a bit for the winter, I think then. Let's have a closer look at the shoes here. Here's the Vaporfly 1s. Looking not too bad, just a bit dusty from the last run. Vaporfly 2s here, they're looking a bit more battered there, but I think it's fairly cosmetic. The outsole's holding up fairly well. And the Vaporfly 4 is perhaps the most battered of the 3 shoes here, especially at the back. But it's all holding up all right, just because there's a bit of wear there under my toes for sure, which I often see a lot of. Compare that with that one, yeah, you can see there's similar there. Haven't worn this one so much, so it's looking a bit better there. I think we'll do these in the order in which the shoes have been released. So we'll do the Vaporfly 1 first, going to the 2 and then the 4. So in that sense, perhaps we're starting off with my favourite shoe first, so then working backwards. Okay, warm up done in the Vaporfly 1s and a few strides. Must say they did feel really nice actually. It was a bit of a cheat in this one, putting on my favourite shoe of these 3 first. And yeah, as ever, I do this on the fading light. But yeah, the Vaporfly 1s, definitely one of my favourite shoes, if not my favourite shoes in ever, I would say. So right, let's crack on with this then. 4:21 for the first lap, so it's pretty much bang on what I was hoping to do. So yeah, feeling nice and smooth in these Vaporfly 1s. They're really nice compromise between soft and firm. I don't think there's ever been that sort of compromise has been reached again, actually, at least for me. Second lap was a 4:20, so pretty much bang on even pace, so that's good stuff. Working reasonably hard at this one, about a 6 out of 10 effort, I would say. Okay, so Vaporfly 2's on, instantly feel slightly looser. That was also the problem with the Vaporfly 2's for me. Just felt like it's just the fit was a bit more accommodating for slightly wider feet. So for my narrow feet, not quite as good. And as a result, the weight actually went up by about 30 grams in my size, from 250 to 280. So that was never a great sign. But I did do some very good races in the Vaporfly 2, clearing a 37-minute 10k, which is the fastest 10k I've done in any super shoe. So yeah, that was encouraging. Right, let's get on with this second set then. It's very interesting there because I actually ran that Vaporfly 2 one about 30 seconds quicker than the Vaporfly 1. I think maybe that's I'm just better warmed up, or just thought maybe that Vaporfly 1 was a bit too easy. So yeah, subconsciously, I think it was a 4.5, 4.11, and then about another 4.10 or something like that. So yeah, it was interesting. That felt like it was not as fast a shoe, and yet just sort of flowing better. So just goes to show sometimes the experience is going to be deceptive, and also perhaps shows the importance of a very good warm-up. Okay, the Vaporfly 4's on foot, instantly feel a lot lighter than the Vaporfly 1s and 2s. Right, I need to put my light on now. There it is, the old Lumi lights. Get around this last rep. See how we go in the Vaporfly 4s. Definitely a lot lighter, but will they result in a better performance? Let's see. Well, that was totally bizarre. In the Vaporfly 4s, almost to prove the run testers wrong, I was 30 seconds quicker than I was in the previous one, and a minute quicker than the Vaporfly 1. So perhaps it just goes to show how much effort you put into a rep matters more than the actual shoes. I did actually feel I was working quite hard for that last one, but yeah, it's had something left. It was around about a 20-minute pace for 3k. So yeah, I'm pleased with that. In descending order of shoes that I thought I would like most. But if perhaps I reverse that, put the Vaporfly 4s on first and it's almost warmed into it. I think it really perhaps sort of takeaway there is that I really need to be warmed up for these sessions. I only did a mile because it was getting a bit dark and a few strides, and maybe I wasn't quite on it. And maybe Matt said do half marathon pace, and still feeling my way around what that actually means at the moment for me. So I haven't done a half marathon for a while. I mean, back in the day, in my sub 3 era, I did a 1:28 on a very cold day before the sub 3, but I did a 1:24 before the 2:56. So let's say I'm around about 1:30 shape, which is what Strava was predicting. So that's about 6:50 pace. So yeah, I was faster than that, albeit that the first one perhaps wasn't that far out, should we say. Definitely quicker by the end. So yeah, keep ticking it over, keep blanging away at these sort of 4-minute Ks. And then come race day, put the fast Rs on, fast R3s, that is from Puma. And yeah, see how we go. And obviously you only need to do 5K. But yeah, I think I really must do a proper warm up, couple of miles warm up, and then do that 1K sort of about the same as I did here actually, around about a 4-minute pace, just to sort of warm into it. I used to do those in the Vaporfly 4s before the last couple of races. That worked quite well. And when I put the fast Rs on, it felt like night and day difference. Vaporfly 4s just feel like quite soft and all right around the hill cup. Don't feel like you've got it completely locked in, but in a way that kind of felt nice because I felt like I wasn't then restricted. Vaporfly 1's much more restricted in that sense. Vaporfly 2's kind of in the middle. I've definitely felt looser in them. So yeah, it's going to have a look at some stats in and see what we think. Okay, so here's my usual spreadsheet. So I had 3 reps, pretty much exactly 3Ks, maybe it's just a fraction under 1.83 miles, but near enough. So started off in the Vaporfly 1, then the Vaporfly 2, then the Vaporfly 4. So the Vaporfly 1, around about 250 grams. The Vaporfly 2 is about 20 grams heavy. I think I might have said 30 grams heavy. It's not quite as much as that. But the Vaporfly 4 is considerably the lightest. And you do notice that on foot, actually. I did think that the Vaporfly 4 felt definitely the lightest, although I think in terms of ride, I do prefer the 1. It feels like it fits my foot the best. But interestingly, I think I was meant to start off this at half marathon pace, and perhaps I started off this a bit too easily. And it's a bit of an unusual shoe off this one, because I didn't really get these paces very dialed in. Although each lap in each shoe was pretty similar. 12:59 there in the Vaporfly 1, and each lap there was around about a 4:20, wasn't it? And in the Vaporfly 2, maybe I was just a bit better warmed up and then just launched into that one a bit better. And then you can see there was 30 seconds quicker. And I remember going through the first lap in 4:6 thinking, how did I manage to run so much faster? I don't think it was anything to do with the shoe. I think it was literally the fact that I just felt like I was a bit more comfortable and warmed into it more. So I think this is an exercise in perhaps not a traditional shoe off, but just sort of showing you how much the actual perception of effort can make a difference. And you can see here that the average heart rate on the Vaporfly 1, 125, 132 on the Vaporfly 2, going into 138 in the Vaporfly 4. So more effort resulted in better pace regardless of the shoe, and it was considerably faster in the Vaporfly 4. I mean, that was probably just around about almost bordering down to 5K pace. I think when I did the shoe off here back in the summer, the Vaporfly 4 rep, the first lap there of 3:56 was very similar to what I actually managed. So that was quite encouraging. Any time these days around about 4 minutes per K, around about that sub 20 pace for 5K is always pleasing. Hopefully I can do a bit faster than that. I'm still hoping I'll be able to do the British Masters race if my problems with my hernia, I haven't really got any worse, to be fair, so I've been taping it up and managing it. It's not really hurting me at all when I'm actually running. I'm just sort of more aware of it. I think the tapings helped to push it back in a bit, as it were. But thanks for all your comments on that. Wife Sue's busy talking to her doctor friends about who's the best consultant to go and see, and I hope to go and see somebody soon. I've got Bupa medical insurance. I'm hoping to get it done through them, which will obviously hopefully expedite things a lot more quickly. So if you look at some of these stats here, it does rather just to show that the faster you go, the lower or the higher things are. So you see the power there starts with 374, 389, 412. My cadence also jumps up to 180, 182, 184. Stride length similarly goes up. Ground contact time goes down because the faster you go, the less time you're on the ground. My ground contact time balance is about normal there, 51 to 52. Slight left lean, but nothing much to worry about. I'm never quite sure what the SSL really means, those numbers there. The second one, it seems to jump up a bit, doesn't it? But then it goes down again. So I've just put them in there for interest. And I've also put the exercise loads in this time. I think obviously the first one, because the heart rate wasn't quite so high and it was slower, load there of 58 for the 3K, then going 66, 77. And then the impact one, that's the measurement of how many miles the effort is kind of worth. So is a bit of a strange stat, because if you do a sort of a 3K and you get given an extra mile, it just seems a bit odd, because I mean, you really have only run 2 miles and it's saying you've run the best part of 3, isn't it? So yeah, that's a bit of an odd stat, but I can see how that might affect things on a really hilly course, but this is pretty much as flat as you can get. This is why I chose it. So yeah, all in all, I think the take here is that the more effort you put into the shoe, the more you get back from it, and it's not necessarily the shoe itself that's doing the work, because you've got to do the work. But I think all of the 3 of these shoes were good, and I think my favourite shoe, well, if I'd have put that last, I probably would have been the same sort of stat here. But yeah, interesting test, and a good test of perhaps more of my fitness as well. So I hope you found this interesting. Like and subscribe with that, and see you next one then. Bye. Bye.